Hello and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Seems like the thing went live so darn fast. I tell you, back to putting the regular reading glasses on. Tonight we're going to be hitting down on the Explorer race. You know, we had this, and it'll be in the playlist as usual, but we got 4 episodes done out of this book right here. And this is the book we'll be reading out of tonight. The Explorer Race, Origins in the Next 50 Years. So I hope y'all can hear me. Seems like everything's working just fine. Anyway, with that said, we are live and kicking. But anyway, I hope you're all good tonight. It's been a long week. So, you know, we're going to discuss things here in this Explorer race and see what, remember, the Explorer race, we'll give you a brush up on it. It's been a while since I dove back into this book, but because it says the origins and the next 50 years, being the first of the year, I think we should dive back into it and just see what the next 50 years means and what it's all about. Anyway, with that, we're going to look at different things. Remember, Zoosh is telling the story here. He is telling the story about us. He's a being. He's an intermediate with Earth and the Creator, and he knows all the things. He's kind of like a Thoth, if you know what that is. Hey, there's everybody dropping in. Hope y'all can hear me. It's all good. Usually I got a guest, but tonight I'm live. I'm not doing a recording. I was off today, and I've been cleaning house. One of my non-favorite things. But anyway, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Max Vision, Lori Elderkin, Steve Charette. Thank you. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about shapes of the soul and the light body. Now, remember, we got Ryan Serio and Trina Phoenix coming on tomorrow night. And, of course, Ryan likes to talk about dreams that he's had, ways to explore the 5th dimension or the 4th dimension. He likes to talk about the elements and your light body, remote viewing. And if you can handle remote viewing and all of that, check out my show with Nina yesterday. We had a really good one on about remote viewing. Tonight, we're going to be doing shapes of the soul light body. Now, what are the shapes of the light body? I don't know, but if you were light, you would be different colors. Remember, we talked about the different colors once before. And then different colors mean different frequencies. Each light is a different frequency. And as it vibrates, you know, because you know what it is? It's you are who you create yourself. Everything that you want to create is in you, no matter if you think it or not. If you're broke and despaired on the side of the road and you think life is ending, it's because you put yourself there. Nobody else did. You made poor choices. Make better choices. Most people don't make good choices. Okay, before I get going here, I got to get me something to wet my whistle. I got this new blackberry lemonade, and it's mighty good. They had this lemonade strawberry that was pretty good too, but blackberry lemonade is much better. So this is all on your perspective. Take it or leave it as you understand it. I hope you all understand it. Remember, the earth is magic and frequency. It's all about, Steve O says it's like an aura. Yeah. When you get to the other side, you will be an aura. You can't have a meat suit body, so you'll be walking around as an aura until you come back here. But the object is to not come back here, right? To learn as much as you can. Go about your business, but learn as much as you can. Don't be a slouch. I mean, if the most important thing to you is watching the Super Bowl this weekend, I would say you're not learning as much as you can. It's nice to enjoy the Super Bowl, and it's great. I used to watch those stupid Super Bowl commercials, and go to the Super Bowl party and eat lots. But as for, basing my whole life around that Super Bowl, not happening. Okay, maybe that's what got me to where I am today. So we're going to do this here. The shapes of the soul, the light body. But as the child comes closer to term, the light body, when inside, generally finds the center of the body, somewhere around the solar plexus, and begins a practice radiating out in the form of a human being, extending beyond the skin of the baby's body. Then the soul begins to identify itself as a human being. See, really, all in all, you are you, and you're using this meat suit body as a vehicle. Believe it or not. Pamela Jean's in the house. Thank you for coming. I always love when Pamela Jean shows up. Then the soul begins to identify itself as a human being. By the time the baby is born, if the soul should exit to talk to its teachers or experience something else, it is tethered to the baby. It gets corded right around 6 months and can go and do things remaining pinpoint of light. Throughout your physical existence, the soul will retain that ability. It will be in the general shape of a human being when it is hanging around you, but once it gets even 5 or 6 feet away, it becomes a pinpoint of light, because even though it's corded to you, it does not identify itself as a humanoid, but as a symbol of wholeness, the circle or the third dimensional or sphere. Though you will tend to see it in its two-dimensional appearance, rarely a sphere. It will never be ovoid or circular. When the body sleeps and you're traveling around in your soul, you are a pinpoint of light, even though you might see or identify yourself in the case of dreams. I heard this once before. Now, I don't know if you read The Journey of the Souls, and they were saying that in that book, the guy describes it exactly like this guy does here. So is there something to it? Were these two people linked together? That's a good question. How did they have the same definition and answer? Did they get together and have lunch somewhere? In the case of dreams, as you get older and your dreams get more complex and the human orientated, you will sometimes experience a dream state where you feel as if you are someone is chasing me, or I'm falling, traditional dreams, and you actually feel it. Now, even though you see other beings, you're actually in that dream state and actually reality. And there are the pinpoint of light. You can feel physical experiences because you are tethered to your physical body. If your physical body at that other end of the tether feels these physical sensations. That's why in waking up after such a dream, you will sometimes remember certain physical experiences. You know that it is not just a dream, but reality. There is no such thing as just a dream, but there is a term you have intellectually applied and to use. Here's a good one. Like the other night, I was dreaming pretty heavily. The bad part is I had a good night's sleep, woke up about 3 o'clock, let the dogs out, went back to bed, and then that next hour that I slept was the hardest sleep I ever swear I had, and it was really intense. I had a massive dream. I think I could remember it at the time, but when I woke up, I was drooling. So I was really out. But yet my dream was very vivid. Now, how come in that last hour, my dream was very vivid, but in that whole 3, 4, 5 hours that I slept earlier, I couldn't remember a thing? Very interesting. Has this happened to you? Let me know. Understand that if that it is the nature of the soul being to be a small point of light. I could actually give you a measurement. If you were to see it in the actual size, it would rarely be more than 1/4 to a 1/2 an inch wide. It usually doesn't get any bigger. It does have to. This is not to say that the soul cannot take other shapes. I've seen souls take other forms, sometimes odd sorts. When the soul leaves the body and tethers is no longer there, that's when what you call death. Of course, there is really no death because the soul is immortally, personally. The body returns to the earth like the library book, and you, the soul, go on. When this happens, sometimes the soul takes a different form because the soul was in the body, in the form of the light body, and is leaving entirely, taking the tether with it and moving through the veins. And you might get a different shape. I can draw you an example. Now, this is just a vague idea of the form. It might take in the form that and it draws a squiggly line shape. But that's the thing. So once you leave here and you go to another light or a body, when you reincarnate, if you reincarnate, did you ever see those where they have those pictures and it looks like a famous actor? I'm going to check it out. Let's see if we can do that. Pictures of people who've been reincarnated, or we think they are. Let's see, picture. Good thing for the internet, pictures of famous people. Yeah. Who have doubles in history, right? Let's see what Google says. Oh, yeah, right away. See, Google gives you the images. See, so even when you reincarnate, let's do this. And we're gonna share the screen. Yeah. So, you may have lived in a past life. Look at this guy. People that look alike. Look at this guy. Now, when he was this, and then now he's there, did he go through time or did he reincarnate as himself? This guy, Chuck Norris. Well, look at that guy. He looks very similar. Did he live in the past? Lived in the past. Look at this guy. Is that not like crazy? I mean, we know who this guy is. That's Nicolas Cage. And he sure does look like this guy. Doesn't he? Look at that. That guy. Here we go. Does that not look like he lived a past life and he returned? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I don't know. Have you ever seen anybody who has a past life? Or, and I think we're going to get this more and more in the future because of pictures. Think of it this way. Right now, you could leave yourself a message, or you would be in, for instance, you would be, like me on YouTube here. I got lots of images of me on YouTube, me talking. You guys know all about me. If I died tomorrow and 100 years later I come back, well, guess what? I might be, I could literally see myself and see memories, of me. I mean, I could see what I did before. Unlike these people who lived hundreds of years ago, they would be not so much. How weird. How weird is that? Well, anyway, I don't see any other good ones. But it's just there to prove my point, people. I guess that's what it's all about. And stop sharing. There we go. Anyway, oh, there we go. Back to normal. Back to normal. Anyway, Delaney Pearl Jones. I'm glad you left, Rick. Yes, I'm glad. Good for you. I'm sure things will get better now. She says 6 lifetimes I've murdered Rick and then killed myself. Well, Pearl, don't you dare do that again. Break the cycle. That's what it's all about, breaking the cycle. You know, you want to have to come back and do this all over again? Break the cycle. You know, try something new. Think about what your past lives you did before and do something different. And that should be the answer. Do something different. That's my suggestion to you. Do something different. Okay, we're going to go on. Soul caravan routes. Those of you who are living in a soul caravan route might see this site quite a bit. A soul caravan route is a course that the souls sometimes take because the energy along the route is more benevolent. It doesn't happen or have with everybody, but there are different routes that affect different areas. Some routes used to be under the sea, but they are not there as much anymore. Oh yeah, nobody sails on the ocean like they used to, because there's too much undersea electronic shenanigans going on. The soul trails are generally over land now because even though you are suffering from the overwhelming amount of electronic pollution, there is actually less electronic pollution over some land areas, especially between mountains, where it's somewhat protected, than under the sea. There's not much protection from mountain ranges at shallow depths. Thus, some of you will sometimes be in a position to see lots of these pinpoints of light. You might ask, how can I tell the difference between a pinpoint of light and that of a soul being from Earth, and that pinpoint of light that is a spirit? Yeah, I mean, we have pictures of pinpoints of light here and there. I actually have one right here. Oh, where is it? I'm going to shrink this down. I have somewhere where we've seen, yes, this one. Yeah, we're going to use good old Nina for this exhibition here. Now we're talking about pinpoints of light. And we're going to share the screen. And this one here. And here's Nina. And we did a show on this once. But as you can see, here's that pinpoint of light. It wasn't visible at the time when she was there, but in the picture, there's the pinpoint of light. Now let's see what it says. Pinpoint of light that a soul is being is from Earth. Yes. Well, most of the time you can't, but occasionally you'll see a pinpoint of light or a mass of light moving through that is purple. This is usually a spirit or even a group of spirits. Sometimes you might see it in gold or some other color. And as you can see, it's kind of a goldish color. Or if it is any other color than you want, what you identify as white, then it is probably a spirit being that is not coalesced into a form you would at other times recognize as a human being. What's the step above a soul? One of our teachers says that it must go beyond the soul And so with the next step up, you are striving towards co-creating with the creator. So there is not a huge step above the soul. People must use certain terms such as higher selves. The idea of a higher self has been working a bit too hard. If you were talking about steps between individuality, then the soul is an individual, your immortal personality. So, but anyway, you can see how this picture here shows this pinpoint of light. I'd say that's as big as about what, maybe a silver dollar or something like that. But anyway, that is one captured on camera. Hope you like that. It says, I often call that soul. Has been much religious coronation, so I don't like to use that much. The steps between the immortal personality and the creator level are very short. I know others have said, well, this is this, and this is this, and this, but there really isn't. There might have been once upon a time because you used to need a lot of steps to get to that level of a PhD program on Earth. It was a struggle to get here, and you need rest, stops, and breathers. Your immortal personality has a significant amount of endurance and can travel in different guises. After death. And there you go. Witchy Moon's in the house. Much favor to you. After you go through this is about after death. After you go through the veils and become your natural combined light self, you become a condensed version, along with many other immortal personalities, within which you still have your individual identity. If someone were to stand back at a distance and look at you, you would no longer be a pinpoint of light, but more of a cloud of light. Passing through the veils after death, you still maintain your identity, even in your light body. Even in that cloud of similar others as the world, you're walking and talking and you're being a human being, but at a higher level or a dimension. But as I say, the observer would stand back and simply see a cloud of light. You could say that this is a not perceptual experience, but you're inside the cloud of light and you see it one way outside it. You see it in a different way. This is not unknown to your lives now. Where you stand makes a lot of difference in how you see something. That's one level. I'm talking about general levels, not positions you can take, choices, ventures. The next level is right around creator, not quite creator, but close as you can get to creator without experiencing the full range of everything happening at once. Now, if you were not going to reincarnate as an individual again, you have the option to join a slowly developing larger cloud of light, which is the accumulator for all light beings, who will replace creator, kind of like this illustrational diagram. Okay, you got creator and then creator assistant. Just imagine that in your head. Anyhow, your choice is either to join up with the cloud of light that accumulating to replace creator so that it can go on and up, or return to creator itself. This is an individual personal choice. Now you'll be interested in the percentages. You might say, well, we've come from the creator, so we're going to want to go home and be loved by the creator. Well, that seems to be true and obvious, although once you go beyond the veils, you're basking in the unconditional love anyway, assuming you're not immediately reincarnating someplace else. You'll be surprised how many choose to go what I'm doubting the assistant creator cloud of light, because there you are surrounded by others who've had the powerful experience of individuality. Your immortal personalities, individual souls, if you like, actually experience individuality. It might say that the creator experienced individuality, but you You might also say that the mother or father experience of child's life through the child, having gone through the process. And then it just goes on and on about some of this stuff. Okay, we're going to skip over some things. Personal and impersonal unconditional love. That one's a long one that we're not going to talk about. What is you crazy dogs? Soul seeding, a way to expand the range of options. Okay, soul seeding, a way to expand. There is a good question. When a group of individuals, immortal personalities, come, there's a range of what they would like to do. What they can imagine doing in any given incarnation might be compounded by the fact that they're going from one planet to another, but it would still be limited by the limits of their imagination. Well, from one planet to another. Hey, did you all hear that they shot down some cylindrical-looking Coke can kind of thing over somewhere over the ocean or over by Alaska? Now, is it a UFO? I don't know. It could be a UFO. That's what they're saying, maybe. Little green aliens coming out now. That'll be the next thing on the news. Aliens shot down over Pacific Ocean. Yeah. Yeah. Well, is that such a good idea? I don't know. It would give me a peace of mind to know that we have the technology to shoot down UFOs now. That might be a plus. Let's go on. Since Creator wanted the Explorer race to have the most complete level of experience greater than the Creator's own, the gaps and spaces of potential must be filled by the splitting or seeding of souls. For example, let's abruptly pick two souls from the 144,000, regardless of how many incarnations they are going to create in this creation. There is space between them. I'm lining them up in bases on the range of their accepted and potential experiences, assuming that 0 is nothing and 100 is everything. If we break down those digits into, say, 100 million marks between the digits, then obviously those 144,000 souls individually experience the range of incarnations that are not going to cover all those marks. Let's say that these two souls are close in range of their expression, their development, and their potential expression, but there's a big gap between them. What happens, or what will happen if soul seeding is not unlike the way a cell divides in the case of identical twins? This happens between lives. Well, there you go. Hey, Regine Hutchelson's in the house. Oh, I'm so glad to see y'all here. Look at that. You make my day, people. Anyway, okay. Let's go on. So souls can divide like cells. Put it that way. The split is very much like that of a cell. When the split takes place, the twins are identical, but one will choose to continue in the original agenda and the other the original agenda plus. The latter has a greater range of options to explore. If someone came along and said, well, I know you're an editor, but now you can be both the editor and also the symphony conductor on the side. Or you might be told, all right, this is your IQ and you have another 50 points. You offered a tremendous range of experience, but the greater potential seems that you can choose to create extra experiences, and you will do this simply because you have more tools at your disposal. Okay, thank you. It is which creates the impetuous for the souls or a creator. In this case, it is the nucleus of creator's personality as carried on by creator's managers. If the creator is the boss, then there are those who manage the exclusive council. This exclusive council falls largely under the heading of what you would call guides or teachers, not individual guides, but a larger sense of a guide. I suppose we can use the term monads, since you like it so much, but my understanding of monad is different from yours. Those who carry out creators' instructions will supervise this to make sure it is done properly, but there will not be a program that a soul must follow. They are just given an option. And I think that one goes for Miss Delaney Pearl Jones, who's got to make some decisions now so she doesn't have to go through it again. Late generations. What's the percentage of monads in relationship to the soul? Well, he's just talking about, you need your guides, and you can split yourself and split yourself and split yourself, and you can be your own guide. Your higher self is your guide. You can split yourself again, but you can only do that on the other side. So the outside of your spirit soul is splitting itself multiple times to help you out, and you need to wake up and listen to it. Put it that way. That's the way it goes into here about the word. These extrusions of the creator. Let's just call them. That sounds a bit technical. No, they don't create souls. It says, okay, you could say there are 145,000 souls split and sometimes come back together. Split off, do all they can do. They eventually come back together, but sometimes they go on and split some more. Just say, for the sake of simplicity, 144,000. You make it sound like work, but it is natural. You don't have to do it. You're stretched to come here like a rubber band, and when you release the bonds of your physical life, you snap back. You don't have to do anything. There's no work involved at all. That is what you naturally are. The work involves becoming the individual expression, and then holding that. Holding that can be challenging. That's part of the reason you sleep, because it is not natural for you to be, even in this incarnation. Something limited is it's natural for you to be significantly unlimited. So you experience yourself, even for moments of time, as something limited is a stretch. So you can hold it. So while your body sleeps, you become what you truly are. Then you forget that again and to be yourself here. So you can grow and change, and all the other stuff will be covered in the first Explorer Race book. Okay. The 144,000. Let's see. Hi, Milky Soul Spy and others around you this past week. Past Midwest City, Oklahoma. Lived there too. Nearly 80 years old. My cousin yeah. Wow. Well, Regine. Yeah. Okay. Well, I get that. Great. Soul Tribe, smile at others. I love that. Yeah. Smile at others around you. I hope that helped. It helps me. I know I went to the grocery store today and I smiled at the cashier, and then she spoke to me. And then I said some nice words and she smiled and I smiled back, and it was a good feeling. I don't get out much. Okay, let's see. Let's go on about this. Yes, of course. Okay, the 144,000 and the 2% of creator. As embodied soul here, we have an alternate selves, possible reality selves, probably selves, higher dimensional selves. They're all enshrouded, and each of those is part of the 144,000. So what he's saying here is there's 144,000 souls created, and each one of us splits off, so we could have hundreds and hundreds of ourselves could be out there living on different timelines, doing different things on different planets, and being our higher selves and lower selves. We could all be 100,000 people or 100,000 splits, because we're energy, and energy can divide, but it can't be defeated. Okay, so let's see. Yes, and of course, going back further, that story is simplified one. The original creator of personality would be similar to an exponential increase, but on a larger level. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, etc. The term 144,000 has been used largely because creator, the story is true, but I'm going beyond it, initially wanted you to have within your grasp the means to exploit certain levels of intellectual magic. Here we go with the magic stuff again. And the numbers have the capacity to form the foundation of symbolic languages and connect you to each other. Your language might have different symbols. So, yes, you notice every language has different symbols. And we are going to be doing some symbols and language. I got a book here somewhere, and I think it's right here, where we are going to be learning the Hebrew symbols. Yeah. And there we go. And it's called How to Read Hebrew in 6 Weeks. And this is going to be a lot of fun, people. We're going to go through it. And darn tootin' if I'm going to read the book and learn how to do Hebrew in 6 weeks. And you could join me. You think I can do it? Week 1, lesson 2. Yeah. I wonder what lesson 1 is. Oh, let's get down to learning some letters. We're going to have to learn letters. So, yep. And it ain't a very thick book. So I think I can do it. You think I can do it? I wonder how many of you think I could learn that Hebrew in 6 weeks? Blackberry lemonade is really good. Okay. Elderberry's in the house. Yes, just notice. Elderberry, don't you know? Every day I come on at 9 o'clock. Every day. You haven't figured that one out yet. Okay. Just think. Okay, back to, yes, because the experience of creation requires a lot of energy, it requires an unlimited capacity for constant generation and co-generation and regeneration. Just think about the individual cells in an individual body, to say nothing of the atomic structure and so on. Multiplied not only by everybody and everything living on Earth and Earth itself and a planet, but multiplied by all the planets, all the souls, and all the beings in infinitum. That 2% that jumps out of the creator to become souls is actually the outer boundary of what creator could offer to birth out of itself. Okay, I'm going to clunk along with 98% of myself. You might say, well, creator is still utilizing that 2% of matter that becomes individuals through our individual creations. Yes, that's true. And you could exploit and say that because it's necessary limits imposed upon you so you can learn, it is still not a total use of your capacity, even when you're out of the body. So creator is, in a sense, really clunking along with 98% of itself. You know, this goes back to something I remember Wayne Steiger talking about. And he was saying that the same thing. He was saying the same thing. If we go back to the story and say there was a story about Adam, and there was Adam. He was the first, right? And then Adam split. You know the story, because they didn't make another Adam. They just had Adam, and then they made Eve out of Adam, so, which I'm sure you all know. I don't have to go into detail about that. And then they split, and then that split, and split and split and split and split and split and split. And then pretty soon, there's all of us. So if that is so true, then every time, just like our bodies, the souls or if the soul splits in half and then splits again and splits again, it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And there was only one original, but every one after that is a copy. And you know as well as I do that you can make a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. But pretty soon, those copies don't turn out so good. And eventually, you have to start out with you have to go back, get the original, and make another copy to make everything better, because the copies got diluted. I'll just put diluted. What do you think of that? That's what they're talking about here. You know, if you have and you copy it, yes, I'm trying to imagine this in my head, and then you copy and you copy it over and over and over and over. Yeah, and eventually that copy is, am I wrong? I mean, how many times can you copy a copy before it starts to waver? Are we wavering? You know, thousands of years later, are we wavering? Maybe and then we're waiting for the original to enhance our cell degeneration, our you know, because are people getting smarter, or we're, you know, compared to the old timers, you know, we have records of them. They were tough. They were stronger. I swear they were stronger. They were their minds were stronger. Put it that way. They had minds like you wouldn't believe. They were tough. I read this story the other day on the show Native Americans stuff, where the woman she was you know in her cabin with her children and her husband, and the Indians came and they killed her husband, and she shot and she tried to fight them off, and she killed a few of them, and they took her and her children, and well, she couldn't carry all the children, so they killed them. So you know, she was dragging her one boy with one hand and carrying the baby with the other, and when the boy couldn't walk anymore, they killed him too and scalped him right in front of her. Yet she carried that baby, and eventually, you know, she escaped, and once she escaped, she ran for miles and miles barefoot in the cold weather, trying to evade the Indians, and you know, with no food or no water, and no rest in the cold, no jacket, and eventually she came to a settlement, and they spent, you know, picked out thorns that had went through her soles of her feet, and one, you know, some of them that went right through the bottom of her foot all the way to the top and out the top, you know. And I'm thinking, wow. And she kept running and didn't stop, and you know, still held the baby the whole entire way, you know, without food or water and in the cold with no jacket and stuff. Could any one of you women out there do that today? Would you just give up? Would you just, you know, go with the Indians? Would you just let them kill you and your baby? Would you just, you know, would you let thorns stick you so much and not cry out? Would you keep running for miles and miles, or just lay down and die? You know, it tells you the strength and the will those people had years ago. And I don't think the people nowadays have that kind of will to go on. Not many of us, anyway. Anyway, enough of my babbling. Let's get back to this. Because you are here in somewhat linear Earth, the idea of assembling and disassembling and reassembling appears to be work. But remember that you're stretched out on a rubber band to be here, and all of the other individual parts of you are somewhat stretched out too. There's a lot of tension when you come to a place like this where we're constantly tested and going through creation exercises, consequences, responsibility, flexibility, and so on. But the fact of the matter is, you don't have to gather up all your parts. Once you are no longer here in the PhD program, but you are just having lives at higher dimensions where everything is a nicey and there's no gathering. You don't have to go hunting. It's right there and you've got all access to it. You don't have to access to it here. There is a veil of ignorance. Oh boy, is there ignorance. But in the core of your being, you do have absolute access to it. When you're asleep, you go out of the body and wander around doing things. You don't remember that when you come here, because you are a wakeful state, and even to some extent in your subconscious state, you must have the veil of ignorance. Oh, yeah. All of yourself, once you're beyond the working recreation place like this, there are a few other places that are variations like this, but this is the extreme. This is where the action is, man. When it is. There's Scotty boy. Andromeda 7 must be over. Scotty boy and Susie Q. Susie Q, I have your box right here, and I'm going to be mailing it out tomorrow. Sorry it's taken me so long. But I was doing some house cleaning today and got everything together. And but anyway, I got your box, Susie Q, and I'll be mailing it out hopefully tomorrow morning if all goes well. I'm throwing in a few extras too. I think I got everybody else's mailed out. I know Mary wins. I sent her some Soul Tribe cards. Or no, I sent her some other stuff. Poor Mary wins never got her stuff. That darn mail. It never came back to me either. So I don't know what happened. Sent everybody else's stuff out. Okay, let's go on. Okay. It says go on beyond the death of the veiled death. And you go to the fourth dimension. What happens when you go to the fourth dimension? But isn't like that. The whole concept of numerality in progressive dimensions is only a concept. Once you go beyond the veil, you are not so much in the fourth or in the fifth dimension. You go beyond the concept of dimensionality. And you were talking about death when you actually come to the fourth dimension. Is that a body? No, I'm talking about beyond the body. When you die and step out and go through the veil, you come into the whole thing. You don't go to the fourth dimension. That is a concept. Question: we're at 3:47 now. When will we get to the fourth dimension? Consciously in this body, then? We're not beyond. We're still within the veil, or what? Okay, answer. Understanding that this body exits right now, it's going to have to change cellularly to function in the fourth dimension. So this body, the body that exists as of this date, is measured, qualified time, does not go to the fourth dimension. But the fourth dimensional changed body will be the fourth dimensional dimension, yes. So sorry people, you can't take this body to the fourth dimension. It has to be cellular change. Maybe that's what the big plan is. Do you ever think of that? They're, the little and it's changing everybody so they could go to the fourth dimension. It's going to feel shocking. Question: it's going to feel shocking to experience the body changing form, isn't it? It's changing right now, and some extent you will have experiences. Some of you who are especially sensitive are having seemingly bizarre experiences. You might sometimes see lights or catching a flash of something that you know was there, but when you look at it again, it's gone. I've done that. You will experience thin spots in the veil, and you will sometimes have a wave of energy rush over you. You are having the experience right now. The experience where to happen like that, snap your fingers, you wouldn't have learned a thing. But remember, you are creators in training, and thus you need to experience things slowly so you can understand them. Incorporate them into your body and experience, and most important, have individual reactions to the body of experience. If your friend experiences this and another friend experiences that, and you hear about both experiences, even if you didn't experience it yourself, you have reactions to it. It's important for people to read and talk about these things so you can react individually to them. And in that moment, assimilate to some degree other people's experiences through the interpretation of your immortal personality. And that's that. See, look at that. You can't just do nothing. See, that's what it's saying. Read, meet people, talk about your experiences. That's what I'm here for. There's a cover charge there. Well, Scotty, Witchy Moon got her cards. Good for you. Yeah, I know. Like I said, Mary wins. She said she didn't get her cards. She got spirit cards, the spirit cards, angel deck, but she didn't receive them. And I don't know why. I know I mailed them off. I mailed her stuff before, so who knows? It should have been returned. I had a return address, but you never know. Anyway, so as we go on, we're getting right to the end. This is the next 50 years, the new corporeal model. And what it was saying over there is you gotta work at changing yourself from the third dimension to the fourth dimension, and that's why I'm here, is to help, share my experiences and pass them off to you people so that you can experience things too, because that's what it's all about, sharing. The new corporate model. The new corporate model. It sounds like something weird, doesn't it? Sounds like that New World Order thing, doesn't it? In the Explorer Race, we discuss the core of your being, who you are, where are you from, why are you here? What are you doing? Where are you going? In the first part of this volume, we went a little deeper into who and who God is and who you are and where you're from and so on and so on. In this part, we have a theme also, where you're going and what is the ultimate purpose of existence. I will make some effort to give you a workable answer. It's important to focus on what we will be, because this allows us to guide the future. Perhaps the more difficult thing for most people these days is that the future is so nebulous that they are stuck or attached to the past. I don't know if I'm attached to the past. When people become frightened, they invariably cling to something. Sometimes it's some person. More often, it's some idea or dogma. Our job here this section is to buoy people up so they will not have to cling desperately to outmodel ideas and ideals. This is a serious factor. The dogmas of the past, even the recent past, are no longer appropriate for your present and certainly not for your future. The idea of people coming together to form something has always been the idea of the New Age community and of many previous civilizations, even more religions on this planet. In the future, it won't be so much that people will come together to do things, but the individuals will get together and become well aware on an intimate level of sacredness of life. From the tiniest ant to the most gigantic solar system, it is usually easier to do on a small level. That is by going out and talking to the ants and the birds, or interacting with the trees. It must be done so that the people can move past one of the biggest addictions that you've had a hard time shaking in recent years, moving past the drug of following leaders. Wow, that is huge. I think he was talking about the internet. See, now this book was wrote years and years ago, I think. This is copyright 1997. That was even before the internet came out, really. So they were talking right there. That sounds like talking about the internet. You will know, um, individuals will get together and become well aware of it on an intimate level. We're getting together and we're becoming intimate on a level, right? And we are the ants and we are the birds. We are all getting together and we are ignoring the leaders. That's right. Energy exchange. That's the thing. We ignore the leaders. I mean, Scotty boy, unless you're are you following the leader? Are we, I don't think you're a follower, are you? Neither are you, Susie Q. You're independent. You're an independent kind of gal. I like that. Doing your own thing. That's what it's all about. Anyway, going on. This is the next part. We're going to wander around a little bit, but mostly we're going to talk a bit about the future so you can have a model to work toward. From time to time, I will talk to corporations, because corporations are the people who are creating the initial model for Earth's system. I need to remind you that the corporate model is prevailing amongst many people. You will know, though, although they will have a more beginning idea about practice of the corporation, so you don't dump the idea of the corporation. It's a good idea, but it needs to become less hierarchical and have more equality amongst its people. That will require heart centering, a sacred mentality, and a true vision that what you want for yourself and your family. You must expand to include the family of all people on earth, even the plants and the animals. When you do that, you'll be ready to take up the next step, which is to include all life everywhere. And that may be happening more than you know. Anyway, we're about there we are. We're back again. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, it froze. Yes, I resemble. Was that Susie Q? Do you resent that remark or resemble that remark? Yeah, I don't. Anyway, I'm just saying, as I don't see you as a follower. I see you as a leader. But marching to your own drums, all of yous. You guys are different than other people. I take that resemble. Yeah. Um, I think that's a good thing then, right? Anyway, I think you were all marching to the beat of your own drum. That's what I get from this group. You've all been, um, you know, thrown out of your comfort zone and put somewhere else, and now you've come together and found this group where people actually understand who you are. And with that, I love y'all, because that's me too. And with that, we're going to sign adieu so we get an hour show. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Remember, go out, do nice things. Remember, smile. It'll get you a lot of places. Thank you all for coming. I will see you tomorrow night, where I'll have Trina Phoenix and Ryan Serio on. Join me there, same time, same place. Remember all, go out, be the frequency you want to receive. I love y'all. Peace, everybody.